Hey everybody, it's Kelly and we are live with day one of the Boyfriend Cardigan Sew Along. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see who all joins, give people time to log in and stuff. Crazy Monday morning. So this video will be archived here in the group, and then also I'm going to be doing blog posts to go along with this. So after we're all done here, I'm going to work on a blog post, and so everything's going to be archived, so don't stress if you can't sew along with us right now. That's okay. It's all going to be saved. You can come back to it and do it when it works for your schedule. It's just that I have kids in school and crazy activities, and this mid-morning time is the best time for me to do these videos without too many interruptions. So, give it a few minutes. Hey Pat, how are you doing? So, for people to join in, if anybody has anything you want me to go over today, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to keep up with both. We're going to see how well I multitask. The video's freezing on Pat. Let me pull it up on my laptop and see what I'm getting. Be so weird. Let's do it twice. Okay. Okay. It's working on my end, Pat. Hi, Joyce. Pat, if you can hear this, try logging out and logging back in. Yeah, it's weird. I can see myself in it. So, yeah, try that. I'm sorry it's freezing on you. Okay, Chrissy Lou says that it's working for her. I have to turn this off on my end. This is wild. Okay, so, alright, so if you have something you want me to go over, oh my goodness. Sorry, I've got to kill this sound. This is crazy. I can't take myself in surround sound. Okay, if you have something you want me to go over, post it in the comments. We're going to go over printing the pattern, assembling it, doing adjustments for height, how to adjust the pattern if you don't want to cut the back piece on the fold for any reason, and then cutting out our fabrics. So that's what we're going over today. So for printing, let me pull this up. So all of our patterns print off the same. So when you print, you want to select your pages. There's a, let me move this. There's a print guide on every pattern, and that will help you save paper. You don't have to print out the entire pattern and instructions. Just print out the pattern pieces that you need, go with the features that you want, and then when you print, you want to make sure you are printing actual size. You see that there? And you also want your printer set to auto portrait landscape. So you can see here on the side that we have the layers so that you can pick what size you want. If you need to blend sizes, just select to the sizes that you need. And then I'm printing US paper, so I have the regular guidelines. If you're using A4 paper, you obviously want to select that. So I've already printed. Let me go set this down somewhere out of the way. Okay. So here's my stack of patterns. So see here, we have our guidelines, and we'll be using those to line up where we print. Before we do that, this beautiful 1-inch square, you want to check that. Make sure it prints to scale. You want to use a quilter's ruler, the rulers that kids use in school. You don't want to use the measuring tapes that we use to measure ourselves with, because those stretch out and you can get an inaccurate measurement. So mine printed well, so we are good to go. So for assembly, Just take page 1, set it down. Let me, hopefully my phone doesn't fall because that would be really bad. So lay it down. Take the second page and then line up the page, the edge of the page with the guide on the right side of the page. So I'm going to tape it and then I'll show you. So see how that's done? You don't want to overlap this line. You want it to butt right up next to it. And then just continue going down the line. So I told you we were doing this live, and we are. I did not assemble anything at all. So I'm going to go through one of my favorite things that I have ever purchased for myself for assembling PDF patterns is a tape dispenser. So much easier than picking up the roll of tape every 30 seconds when you need to tape pages. So if you do a lot of PDF patterns, I highly, highly, highly recommend a tape dispenser. I know a lot of people like glue sticks. I don't know. To me they're more work, and so because I am lazy, I go with the tape. I buy my tape from Costco in like 10 packs, 20 packs, I don't know. I got lucky. I had to change my tape dispenser tape right before this, and I keep a box full of my refills. This was my last refill, so I will be going to get more tape later. So we got the first row. So the second row, I'll hold this up. So on the US paper, you just butt the second row again up to that bottom guide and keep going. If you are printing on A4 paper, you are going to have a guideline at the top of your page also. You can either trim your page at that guideline, or you can just overlap so that the guidelines butt up to each other, whichever way works for you. I know a lot of people like to assemble their patterns on like a large window or a sliding glass door so that they can see through the pages. That would be helpful with the A4 guides if you need. I'm lucky I have a really large desk that I use for assembling my patterns on. Makes it easy. I know some people do it at their dining room table or even on the floor. So most of the Love Notions patterns are laid out in a way that you don't need a huge, massive 20 by 20 area to assemble your patterns. It's been a while since I've printed the boyfriend cardigan. I was using a different size for the longest time, and so I was an opportunist with this so long. I wanted some new cardigans in a smaller size, and so I said let's do a so long. So that works though, right guys? Whatever to have a so long. So now I'm on row 3, and I'm just continuing to go along and tape as I go. Any questions about assembling patterns or anything? No? Okay. Weird to get in your face like that, I apologize, but I can't see. I wear glasses, but I can't see. I need new glasses. Alrighty. So I printed out the shawl and the hood because I'm going to sew both of them sometime this week. I don't know which one I want to sew today, or start for the sew along. Which one do you guys want to see in the sew along? Do you want to see both? Because I can do that, or do you have a preference, shawl or hood? Okay, so first section is done, and so that was easy enough. I got to add a couple more pieces of tape. So missed some seams. There we go. So now, moving on to, see, this is the hood. So, and it's on its own little separate section, so like I said, I don't need this huge, massive area, which is really nice. Oh, this goes over here. See? Hi. My husband's office is right off of mine, and he just walked out. And his door is behind the camera, so well, see. Sometimes he likes to tease me in the videos. I've done tutorials, excuse me, where he's throwing candy in the shots and stuff like that. And that's not open. I'll show you that when you're like grown-up sippy cups and they get the bubble at the top and then you can't drink out of it. So, okay, so we're still taping. You're going to do this shawl, Suzanne? Cool. Jen says the hood. Jen, are you going to sew it? Because I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to follow up with you every day, Jen. So Jen is a really good friend of mine. She is a quilter, and I'm kind of getting her to sew more clothes, but she's getting me to quilt too, so it trades off. So okay, so I saw one of the questions, was that this morning in my video? Sorry, I just got a call. She was, I think, 10 when this pattern was released, and I know she was wearing a size 10. And she is 13 now, and she is 5'5" almost, and wears a woman's extra small, and probably about a girl 16. And she is still squeezing herself into her size 10 boyfriend cardigan. And it's really cute on her. Now the shoulders are up higher on her. The sleeves are not oversized at all. They are very fitted. And it's nowhere near as long as it was initially. But it's so cute. So somebody had asked about altering the shoulder. And because of the way Kate's fits her now, I'm toying with sewing one and onto the shawl. So I had to think about the layout because before we were taping to the side and now we're taping down. So I think I'm going to sew a cardigan. See, I wear a medium, and I think I'm going to sew maybe an extra small. So I'll sew that, see how that fits me. I know it's not going to close in the front, and I'm okay with that, but I'm curious on how it changes the fit of the shoulders and everything. And I know if it doesn't work out for me, Kate will get it. So, or Jillian or somebody. So Jillian is a size small in Love Notions. So between Kate, Jillian, and I, we can go extra small, small, medium. So somebody will get use out of that cardigan. So I have a couple sweater knits, but I think I'm going to use some purple, I still didn't look this up, Hachi fabric that I have in my stash for that one. So, okay, just a couple more pages. I am doing the hooded neckband piece now, and like I said, these last few ones were all on their own set of pages, so super easy to assemble. And with this last one, assembly is done, and then we're going to cut out the pattern. So I'm going to grab a couple fabrics. So these are the fabrics that I got from Sly Fox, and I want you guys to vote. What am I sewing tomorrow? Or I'm going to cut it today. This is the brushed sweater knit, which is crazy soft, and then this is a heavier weight fabric, but it's looser weave, so it's going to work great for spring. I think both of them will be amazing. So while I'm cutting out my pattern, I want you guys to vote which one, the black and white or the purplish indigo. Let's go with indigo. Indigo brushed. which one and what style, hooded or shawled. So I think I have enough to do either from either. So let me know. I'm going to start cutting my pattern. So, not fabric scissors. So, one of the very important things, if you use your fabric scissors for paper, it will dull them out and it makes cutting your fabric out harder. Now I don't use scissors for cutting my fabrics out. I got off the line. I use my self-healing mat and rotary cutter. So, okay. I got to cutting too fast. There we go. I'll fix. See? Nobody knew. So, but I still like to keep my scissors sharp because there are times that you need them, and it's important to have sharp scissors when you do. So, alright. Okay. So as I'm going, taking out my scrap because they get in the way. Alright, so now this is the shawl neckband. Any questions so far? Black and white hood, indigo brushed, indigo with shawl, indigo with a hood, striped in a shawl. Hi Jenny, yeah Jenny, sorry. Oh, from the UK, that's so fun. You're gonna make the hooded one. And Sarah's in the UK. So cool that we got international viewing. Stripe matching, please, Cheryl. Oh, yes, it is important for the stripes to match. So, yes, I agree with that. The striped fabric came in 2 1-yard sections, so I have to lay that one out to see what I can do. So, get the neckband for the shawl cut out. Do you guys have any tips for cutting patterns and making it easier? Because this is the longest process. I know some people do it with their rotary cutters. Like they have 2 rotary cutters, one for fabric, one for paper. I don't know why I've never taken that up. I've just always stuck with the scissors. Okay, shawl cut, neckband cut. I'm going to set these back here. So, pocket piece. So I love, love, love the pockets for this cardigan. I always have stuff stashed in mine. You know, the essential stuff. Alright, so looks like my line for the bottom of the pocket got a little bit too close for my printer's margin, so I'm gonna just go with it like that. Maybe it'll be slightly taller, but I doubt it. Yep. Hi, Jamia. You got your rotary cutter. See? Maybe one day I'll be cool and pull out a rotary cutter for it. Okay, now for the hood and the sleeve. So after I get all this cut out, we're going to talk about shortening pattern because I am short. I'm 5'3" if I stand up tall, so which is kind of tall compared to my mom, but my sister's taller than me, so I have no room to gloat. But any height I do have is in my legs, so I have to shorten my pattern. So the general rule with shortening is the Love Notions patterns are drafted for a 5'5" average height person. And then the general rule is you shorten 1/2 inch for every inch you are shorter than the pattern. So, I don't know, math. I don't know if I've had enough coffee. So, I'm 2 inches shorter, so going by that rule, I should shorten by 1 inch. But that doesn't really hold true to me. So I usually have to shorten about 2 inches. 1.5 inches, 2 inches. It depends on the pattern. The cardigan, I shortened 2 inches for me. And I don't know, it's kind of a combination of, this page needs tape. I'm missing a piece of my sleeve because I didn't tape it to page 34. It's a combination of my height and the fact that you should always make sure that the hems of your clothes hit you in the most flattering spot. So even though it's designed to hit in a certain spot, it may not work for your body, and that's totally okay. The beauty of sewing is that you make it work for you how you need to. So, okay. So I like my cardigan hems to hit about right here. And actually, speaking of hems, do you guys like my shirt? So, if you've got a little keen eye, Hawkeye, this is the Presto tunic that's in testing right now. And I love it. I know I'm biased, but I do. I love it. It's really comfy. It's got this cool split hem and a pretty dramatic difference in the hem lengths, which is cool. So you get your booty covered and it covers your front well, so you can wear it with your leggings and your, I got it with skinny jeans today. I have the 3/4 length sleeve. It has 4 sleeve options, so it has long sleeve, 3/4, short, and then sleeveless, which I'm making a ton of to wear under my cardigan. So, it has this cute panel piece in the front, so you can do an accent fabric or same fabric like I do, and this button placket and a collar. Really great instructions, so it's nothing scary to assemble. Mine went slow just because of this fabric. I love it. It's a poly rayon type. It's really breezy, airy. It's going to be great in the summer. Okay, striped shawl, rider cut. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing anything. But I did miss taping a page up here. So, look for this to release pretty soon. So testing is going really well. We're just doing some final adjustments, tweaks, evaluations of the testers. Tammy's doing really great. So, you know, she's not going to release anything until it's ready. So, but yeah, we're really excited for it. And I missed a lot of sections. The testers are loving it. And it's going to work in so many fabrics. Okay, so I did not tape the front. There we go. We've seen shirting, and I think Tammy posted one in flannel for her tester call, which looked really comfy cozy. I have some, I think it's Vol from Art Gallery that I'm going to make another one from. And then I know there's been talk of some double gauze, and I think this would make a really cute swimsuit cover-up. I think Rachel was going to do that with one of hers that she did in testing. So, so much cuter than the oversized t-shirt that I normally put on when we go swimming. Okay. get the front cut out here. We're almost done, so I just have this little piece of the front left to do. There's the front. So, sorry, I know that paper's probably loud to you guys. I apologize. I could have sound equalizing. That would be incredible. Okay, so I'm just cutting around the vent. Cutting up the side seam. So when I'm done with this video, I'm going to be posting a graphic each day of the week. So it'll say boyfriend cardigan day 1. So that's going to be where you post your progress each day. So don't post it on the videos, because I'm going to be downloading the videos and posting them over to the blog so that people can reference them there also. But so we'll keep track of progress in a separate post. And so today I want you to post your fabric all set to go. And we're not going to do daily prizes or anything, but we'll do a prize at the end with the completed cardigans. So don't stress if you can't sew side by side with me. So we'll be sewing, oh, I should have printed out my schedule, through Thursday. Friday is for hacks and stuff like that. And then, so you'll have Friday and the weekend to catch up if you can't sew during the week. I understand schedules can be challenging. Okay, we are all cut out. So, I want these few pieces. So I have the front, the back, and the sleeve. So one thing I want to address is the sleeve. I know people will look at this sleeve cap and kind of get anxious because it doesn't look like a normal sleeve cap. And that's because the boyfriend cardigan has that drop shoulder. So you are going to have a more rounded sleeve. We have a center marking, and then the front is the sloped down side, and then this is the back. So my marking, I cut it off. Oh, wait a minute. No. This is the front. No, I was right. This is the back. I need to... so after I do this, I'm going to print off that page and mark it so that it stays on there better. I wasn't paying attention. I was cutting and talking. So, but anyway, this is drafted correctly. It's because of that drop shoulder. And then the other thing that gets brought up is this angle on the back here. So I'm going to show you how to cut the back piece on the fold if you don't want to have that seam running down the back. So the seam does really good with shaping. Do you see? So one of the options for this shirt is back darts, and I have not put them in yet. So you can see it just kind of falls straight down. And if you do the back of the cardigan on the fold, it's going to fall just like that. But if you cut it on the seam, it's going to, see how when I pinch in some darts, you have some shaping. Cutting the pattern and putting in that back seam is going to give you some shaping with your cardigan, which is really nice to have. Let's see it big. Alright, Jen, high bust and full bust put me between a large and an extra large, where my waist is larger than the 3X and my hips are. Yeah, Jen. Okay, are you measuring your waist in the right spot, Jen? Because I've seen pictures of you. So, make sure when you measure your waist, actually, let me grab a tape measure. I should have gone over measurements. Okay. So, pattern goes by high bust. That's your most important measurement. So, to measure your high bust, you want to do this in a cami at most, something that's tight fitting. You measure around like that. You're going above your breast tissue. So that's your high bust. Full bust with the tapes even and straight. Full bust goes across the fullest part of your breast tissue. So depending on your breath, you can really change this measurement. So I like to pull the tape snug, breathe in, breathe out, relax. So that's how I do it. Get an accurate measurement. It hasn't failed me yet. I make my kids do it the same way. For your waist, so I'm going to pull this tight. You see, I don't have a very defined waist. Say hello, rectangle. But when I tip over, I have an obvious crease. That is my waist. My belly button, for reference, is way down here. But my waist is up here. So that is where take my waist measurement. And then hip is down here, fullest part of your button hips. So when you're measuring, make sure you take your measurements accurately. Jen, I would, so high bust, full bust, you want a large to start, and then I wouldn't grade all the way to an extra large. You don't really want to grade more than 2-3 sizes. So large, if you wanted to, you could grade to an extra large, but it is, or 2X. There is quite a bit of ease in the hip, so you should be fine. So you can message me, Jen, if you need to. Sarah, nice to see someone doing the pattern. So, well, good. I'm glad that putting the pattern together is helpful for you. I know I measured wrong for years. Like, I would look at clothing sizes online to order stuff, and my waist size would always put me at like 3-4 sizes bigger because I was measuring down where I wear my jeans. Now my waist is typically a size larger than my hips and my bust area because I am a rectangle, but it's not really 3 sizes larger. So it is important to find your actual waist and measure it, not where you wear your pants. Your pants, this is actually high hip. It's like my hip bone is right here, my waistband is right here. So you wear your pants on high hip usually, and your waist is up higher, usually a couple inches above your navel. Okay, my high bust is just a 1/2 inch off size small. Probably I would size down, Suzanne, just because there is a lot of ease, and then sweater knits stretch out and all of that. So if you were using something more stable, like if you wanted more of like a house robe with a fleece, I would say go up to the small, but especially with sweater knit, size down to the extra small if you're that close. See, Jen? There you go. It's a good diet, isn't it? So yeah, measuring correctly matters. So, okay. So let's shorten this puppy for short Kelly. Alright, so on the front and back pieces, we have this lengthen shorten line. Just made sure I put a piece of tape there. We're going to cut the pattern right there for both the front and the back. So just literally take your scissors and cut. See? 2 pieces. So I'm doing these one at a time. Let me get the sleeve out of the way. And now, so I'm doing this on my cutting mat, which is really nice because I have this nice grid. Can we see what I'm doing? So I'm lining up the straight part of the pattern with one of the lines. What is that? That's the x-axis. Anybody remember high school, junior high, algebra? And then, so I'm going to shorten this 2 inches. So I put this along the guidelines, and then I'm going to take the top piece and just move it down 1-2 inches. Make sure it's straight. I'm going to tape it together. Show you guys what I did here. Tape the back so that it's secure when I hold it up. Okay, so this is what I get. So I get this little piece going off to the side, and then not too bad right here. So we need to blend this, which is really easy. It sounds scary, but it's easy. So if you have a French curve, you can bust that out here. I don't. So normally I use my scraps for cutting the paper. So I'm going to slide a piece of paper behind there and tape it into place. And then I'm just going to literally draw in a line, and then I'll show you what I did and talk about it. So, right there, you in focus, hi. So I start above, let me come around so I can see what I'm talking about. So this is where the little jag is. I kind of take it into the middle of that and just blend the line up here to the line down here. Just cut that off. Easy peasy, right? So depending on the pattern you're shortening, sometimes it's a more severe jag, and you just need to blend it out over a longer length. So there we go, shortened pattern. That's it, that's all it takes. And so, hold it up to myself, and then I think we have a 2-inch hem on this, so yeah, that works. And then do the same on the back. So, gonna tape that, cut the back into 2 pieces. Okay, and then again, use the table lines. If you don't have large cutting mat to do this on, then I would get your quilting ruler out or some other ruler and draw. Here, let me do that for you. Okay, so if you don't have the table, get your ruler. I'm doing 2 inches, and just line up the line with the cut line. Draw your line. That's it. And then you take the other pattern piece and line it up with the line that you just drew. Easy peasy. So now, just tape it in place. Now this time, wait a minute. We have a more obvious little jogging rod. Okay. I don't, if I shorten it 2 inches, doesn't it, if I overlap 2 inches, doesn't it shorten it 4? No. Because see, we're on, okay, now you're, it's Monday morning. You can't do that to me on Monday morning on my first one. Okay. So, no, it doesn't. And I'm trying to think of the best way to explain that. So when we're taking out, or let me grab the pattern. Let me see if it explains in the pattern. Okay. So we do have a handy DND how to shorten guide in the pattern. So, no, it doesn't address that in there. Okay, here, we'll do a visual. Let me put this back together. I don't know. Okay, so let's do this. And then we'll line up. Okay, so alright, here's my front piece that I've shortened, and then it's on top of the back piece that I have not shortened. So I taped the back piece back together where I cut it. You see that it's only shortened by 2 inches. I don't know why it doesn't, man, if it wasn't Monday morning, I could explain why. Okay, no, because overlapping only removes 2 inches. There we go. Thank you, Alex. Look, Alex not feeling well. Her brain is working better than mine. Okay. So, but no, you remove how much you need. Okay. And I definitely do not mind going back and answering questions like that. That is the whole point of the sew along, is to answer stuff for you guys in real time. I love that. I can help like that. Okay. So, back piece, we have more of a jog here. And so I centered the back when I cut. So I'm going to have to blend this side and this side. So, again, taking my scrap piece of paper and sliding it behind, taping it in place. Whew. Do you guys hear what sounds like elephants running around? My cats are going wild, running like crazy. My cats are nuts. So like I said, you could use a French curve on this, and honestly, if I was dealing with woven, I would. Okay, I have to think because I'm blending this in with the waist. Okay, if I was dealing with the woven, I would. Oh, I'm thinking backwards. Okay, right there. Okay, because you have to be more accurate with woven because you don't have the forgiveness that knit has. So, okay. Alright, so there's the side seam blended. So the back, I ended up, like, this is the small of the back. And so I made a hot mess of my blending. Ended up taking it from the small of the back and then blending it down here. Because otherwise I'm losing that definition if I go right there, and I have a sway back. So I need as much definition as I can get in that spot right there. I might. Okay, no, I love helping people make things that work for them, that's customized for them, so I'm definitely not going to bite during this, because it's so cool to see people make stuff that they love and can wear, and move my garbage can and be excited about. So there's my adjusted pattern pieces. Now we can shorten the sleeve. I don't, because I like my sleeves really long, even though I end up pushing them up my arm most of the time. I like a longer sleeve, so I don't shorten my sleeve. You notice that there is no length and shorten line on the sleeve, so what you can do is just draw one in. I always default to like, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches from the end, from the hem. I didn't cut that out very well. Oh, I didn't trim the bottom of the sleeve off. That's my deal. That doesn't look right. Okay, there we go. That's better. So, if you want to shorten your sleeve or lengthen your sleeve, just draw in a line. I'm going to go with, let's say, 6 inches from the end. And just mark. And then draw a line in. And then you would go the same process as you did, warnings from my phone, as you did shortening the back. So you just draw that line in if you need it. So now we're going to cut out our fabric. Alright, so coffee is getting moved. I dumped water all over a stack of patterns the other day. My general rule is I don't have drinks on my cutting table when I have fabric going, and I broke my rule that day and water went everywhere. Oh my goodness, I was so mad, but So, coffee is moved. Or if you are in the market for a cutting table or something, man, if you can get something with these pull-out extensions, love them. So I put all stuff right here. I do keep my tape close by because in my notes so I don't forget stuff during so long. Because there have been times that I've forgotten to tape something like you've seen. I just want to check and make sure that shorten and inseam, it's 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm reading back and looking at comments. Alrighty, not missing anything. Alright, so for today, alright, I'm going to go with this one with a hood, I think. Because you guys are pretty even on what you voted for. So indigo shawl, striped shawl, indigo so pretty, indigo with shawl. Oh no, wait a minute. You guys voted to okay, so you guys voted for the indigo with the shawl. Okay, let's do an indigo with the shawl. I do need to shorten the shawl piece. Thank you, Cheryl. Yes, let me grab that. Okay. So, there's no shorten line on this, so because the bottom is straight, you can, if you're not shortening much, you can just shorten from the bottom. But because I'm removing a honk in 2 inches, I'm just going to make a line. I'm just going to go with 12 inches from the end, and it is kind of arbitrary. I want to keep some of the shaping, so I kind of picked a spot that has the start of the shaping. So if I was to remove a whole 2 inches from the end, I am changing the shape of the shawl more there. Okay, so 1, 2. And so for this piece, I'm just lining up. Okay, so see, I lined up the straight side, and then I'm going to blend this side. Paper scraps. See, this is what I get for, I lost my pen. Oh, there it is. Because I'm doing this by memory. Not referencing the pattern. So it does state in the pattern to shorten this piece. There we go. All better. Okay. Okay. Yep, we're all caught up. Let me get my table cleared. Alright, so you guys want to see this one in the shawl. This is so soft. I'm excited for this cardigan. Alrighty, so take your fabric, open it up. Alright, so the diehards that have been sewing forever, or those that learned on the Big 4 patterns, or from their grandmas or their mothers, they're going to tell you to fold your fabric right sides together. And that's so that you can do your markings on the back side, the wrong side of the fabric. I kind of go with wherever my fabric falls. So unless it's something like, you know, something that has a ton of markings, then I do. I follow the rules. I'm a good person and will mark on the back. Okay, so I know I just put that over way too much. Alright, so fold over just far enough for your pattern to fit, which was not what I did. Okay, I wanted to make sure I had enough. So if you're ever anxious about if you have enough fabric, like, lay out all your pattern pieces first. Don't chop into anything until you know it's going to fit, because sometimes you have to puzzle piece. We don't include a pattern layout in most of the patterns because it varies so much with laying out the patterns for each different size. Like, it's just, the patterns fit differently. So unless it's like really specific with no wiggle room, we don't really have very many pattern charts. And I can move it over more. So okay. Alright, one of the questions that came up this morning was how to omit that back seam. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm not going to cut it like that because I want that shaping. So when you lay out your sweater knit, it stretches. Don't let your fabric fall off the side of the table because it will stretch out and change the shape. Yes, Elizabeth, you can make a sweater without the shawl or the hood. So you'll just cut out everything minus the shawl and hood and fold it over and hem. It's in the directions, I believe. I have a really, here, let me show you. I got this fabric from Joann's. You remember my fabric selfies the other day? Yeah, I totally bought this. I am going to just hem the front of this one. Isn't that pretty? Look how, this is going to be so great for spring. And actually, I might pair it with this. How does that work? Is that too much? Or is that weird to see the floral through the sweater? I don't know. But I'm just going to hem the front of this one. So you can. You don't need it. Alright, so anyway, don't let your fabric fall over the side of the table. It will stretch, it will distort, and stretch out your fabric. So make sure that it's all nice on the table, and then also don't stretch it when you lay it out. I like to, if you notice, I pick it up and then kind of drape it, and then pick up the seam and or the fold and shake it out so it lays flat. And then, so it's curved down there, make sure it lays straight. I spend a lot of time making sure my fabric is laid out nicely because that really does affect cutting out your pattern. Alright, so omitting the fold. So we have this great shaping, but there are times that you don't want it. Like, you got this really cool fabric design that you want to use and you don't want that seam, or you don't want the trouble of matching the seam. I get it. So you want, the key is to keep this grain line marking straight with the selvage edge, which should be straight with your fold. I overhang, let me move you. Hi, can you see the pattern piece? I have comments in my way so I can't see. You can see my nasty concrete floor. So I just overhang the pattern piece 1/8 of an inch because we don't need that seam allowance. There's this 1/8 inch seam allowance built into all of the patterns. So overhang it there, and then it's going to overhang at the bottom too. And just make sure your grain is straight. And my fabric's not. See, I'm using my rotary table to make sure that that's straight. Okay, and then 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. So straight, straight, straight. Now, like I said, if you are diehard, you're gonna measure to make sure that your grain line is straight with your fold and with your selvage edge. So with knits, I don't. I'm a lazy seamstress. So anyway, that, can you see? We'll pan it a little bit. It overhangs down here and overhangs up here for 1/8 of an inch. Don't you lose a lot of width if you don't? Not, well, it definitely changes the style. You are going to lose some, but it overlaps a little bit. I'm trying to think if I have any. I I don't even have a cardigan that fits me well to show you, but yeah, you will lose some width, but it still works. You could not put buttons on it without that shawl. You could do a band. So if you want to do a band but you don't want to do the shawl, just cut a piece that's this width by this length. So you would just cut straight. Cut straight on here instead of having that curve, and then you could have a band without the shawl neck. So that's an option too. So, and I have done that. So, and then if you wanted to, you could interface this piece with some knit interfacing and do buttons on it and stuff. Why an 1/8 of an inch? Oh, you mean on the overhang, Carol? It is 3/8 of an inch. Did I say an 1/8? Or maybe I didn't speak clearly. I'm dropping stuff. It does overhang the 3/8 inch seam allowance. Was that your question, Carol? I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I'll come back to that if that is. So since I am cutting it as written, I'm going to move my fabric over a little bit. Everybody get how to do that cutting with removing the seam in the back, I hope. I feel like I went fast on it. Okay. So pattern placed. Let me get my pattern weights out. And my rotary cutter. My fancy dancy pattern weights. These are just, I think they're 2.5 inch. Yeah. Yes, 2.5 inch washers from the hardware store. Fabulous pattern weights. Even though I am loving the tile ones that I keep seeing popping up right now, and the Polymer clay ones, those are adorable. So now we're just going to cut out our pattern piece. So rotary cutter makes it really easy. I like the small little rotary cutters. So to me they're easier to get into the little tight curves and places that the patterns have sometimes. Okay, go up. Oh, I need to change my blade. So don't just yank on these sweater threads. You will get a run. Make sure you cut them if your pattern doesn't, or your fabric doesn't cut neatly. Okay. And then the neckline, and now the back. Alright, so now we have some markings. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. And then I still managed to snag one. I want to make sure. Okay. So now for the markings. I like to use this awl to poke into my pattern piece to mark things like the pocket placement, or in the case right here, the stopping point for this vent. And normally I use tailor's chalk for this, but it's not going to show up well. So what I'm going to do, you could use a tailor's tack, which is you just hand stitch some thread right there. I'm using a safety pin. So just find the point. I would use a super fine safety pin if you have sweater knit or something like that. And then I have the sleeve marking at the arm side. I'm just using a clip, and so this is a double, so I use 2 clips. Genius, huh? All right. Move my weights. Need that again. And then look how pretty. Flip the pattern over. Ooh, it's already curling. This is going to be fun to sew live, you guys. That fabric is already curling. And then flip over the pattern piece and line it up. My kids like to get into my pins and pin them together. Drives me crazy. I'll go to reach for a pin and like 3 dozen of them come out. They think it's hysterical. They'll do it with my clips too. I will often find my clips clipped together like this. Okay, Jennifer, I have to use my dining room table to cut out. Wish I could. But if I did, I wouldn't. I have seen people store their large, or I haven't seen it personally because that's creepy. I've read about people storing a really large cutting mat like in between their mattress and box spring on their bed, which, I mean, that would work, or you could slide it under your bed. Also, if you have space, or stand it up behind the sofa. That's another place to do it. Yeah, I guess if it was narrow enough, you could slide it under your sofa too. So some options, because I am all for enabling people to be able to have more cool sewing tools that make life easier. Okay, alrighty, the back piece is cut. So when I cut my pattern pieces, I am guilty of taking a piece that I've already cut out and then cutting another piece out of it. So I have learned to pin the paper pattern piece to my fabrics, and then I know, hey, that's not scrap, don't cut into that. So there's piece 1. Now get these tails out of the way. Okay. And now for the next piece. So shake it out. Make sure it's laying nice and smooth. Ah. I have dry hands, dry skin, and it just snagged on it. Okay, I don't think I have that folded over enough, but we'll see. I don't know. Okay, lay flat. Alrighty. Okay, now our front piece. So, I treat almost all of my fabrics as directional fabrics because sometimes they'll have a nap to them that you won't notice until after you sew your pattern together. So I keep all of my pattern pieces facing the same direction. When I cut, like, I could save fabric and squish it on if I flipped it over, but no, I treat everything as directional. Make sure. There you go. See? Keep your cutting mat under your bed. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna cut our front out. Okay. Sorry guys, it's getting real. The hair is going up into a ponytail. Okay. And just, okay. There we go. Assembling the pattern and cutting out the fabric is probably going to be the longest process. Up there, okay. And there we go. I can't wait to see what fabrics you guys are using. I like looking at all the different fabrics, and it's amazing how much of an impact your fabric choice has on your final product. Like, it's incredible. You could have a dozen cardigans cut from the same pattern, and they can all look so different because of the fabric you use. Alrighty, so there we go. I want to make sure I'm not missing any comments happening. Oh, my phone keeps giving me warnings. Anybody else have way too much stuff, pictures, probably on their phone? So my phone keeps telling me, your storage is almost full. Like, I know. Because I sew and take selfies. Okay. Marked the hem vent. Alright, so now on this piece, we have this little marking along the neckline, and that is for when we go to stretch our neckband into place. So when we attach the neckband, we stretch it over the upper part and around the neckline, and that helps that collar stay nice and snug. Alright, so now I need to mark my pocket placements because I'm definitely putting pockets on. Alright, I'm going to try the chalk, but I don't think it's going to work well. Ooh, I got it on one. I'm still going to mark it with the pen. Okay. See, that one's not marking. Okay, it is... I got one though. I'll take one. There. Okay. And then there's that. Let's do it. I have all sorts of sizes of safety pins in there. Don't want to use the big honking ones. Alrighty, so that one's marked. Now to do the other side. Oh, my pins are slipping. So, alrighty. Alex, for making the... Yes! Alex has a great hack for a dust for length boyfriend cardigan on the blog. So if you want that super cool look, check that out. I don't know if it's listed under our tutorials tab, but there is a search feature on the blog. The search box is to the right of all of the tabs underneath the header, and you can just search boyfriend cardigan and you'll get all of our boyfriend cardigan related stuff. Okay, and see, it did not work well for that one. Well, 1 out of 4 isn't bad, right? There we go. Okay, and then one more. That's a big secret. I'm trying to do this and not snag my fabric too, because that would be sad. Alrighty, so that's all marked. Now on to the sleeve. Pin the pattern piece in. Okay. Alright. Okay, so this is what I have left of my fabric. Alright, so sleeve is not cut on the fold, so I'm going to fold my fabric over and cut 2 sleeves at once. Be a rock star like that. Sure that it's all nice and smooth. Our sleeve piece. I do need to go back and check that mark, but I'll mark the front one and then I'll look that up after. That'll be easy to do since I pin my pieces to the pattern. It'll be easy to line that up, and mark that missing mark when I get done with this video. Okay. There we go. So my green line's in check and all that. Boom. Okay. Up we go. Okay. There we go. Because yeah, it's really important, especially on this pattern, to match up the front and backs correctly with your sleeve and the body pieces, because it can cause all sorts of funky stuff to happen. There we go. See, sleeves are a cakewalk. Alright, and so I'm going to mark the shoulder seam and then that front mark, and then I'll look up that other mark later, but make sure you mark all of your markings on your sleeve cap. I have a zipper in my clip bowl. Alrighty, and then clip that in place. Alright, and so we voted Shaw for this one. Great. You guys voted Shaw for both of them. Oh, look at Alex. She's on top of it. She's just linked the duster cardigan for you guys. Oh, I have pockets to cut out too. You have to have the pockets. Okay. Alrighty. Cut two. Oh. Read the instructions, Kelly. Cut two on fold. Okay. This is going to be cutting it tight, I think. I'm wheezing. I have asthma and I think I've been talking too much. Sorry guys, coffee break. Everybody take a coffee break. I brewed the wrong coffee this morning. Well, last night. I lost my rotary cutter. You guys ever do that? Oh, it's under my pocket. Oh my gosh, the cats. So I set the automatic coffee up, you know, the night before. And I was not thinking last night, and I set it up with my husband's preferred coffee. And not my preferred coffee. I get up several hours before my husband does. And so I can normally have a pot of coffee done in the morning before he wakes up. And then I will brew a pot of his coffee. And then I still drink that. I drink way too much coffee. So, but this morning I wasn't paying attention. And I'm just going to use these scissors instead of digging out my other ones. Was not paying attention last night and made his, so I'm kind of drinking this really strong stuff right now. Okay, there's one on the fold. Okay. Now, yeah, okay. Two on the fold. I don't want to flip it. So when I drink his coffee, I have to put milk in it because it's weak. So. Alrighty, I have to go against my rules and flip this piece. I'm hoping that there is no... It doesn't fit otherwise. Hopefully there's no, I don't notice any nap. So, fingers crossed, you guys. If that works out, okay. No questions? Okay. Hey, oh, what'd you have for dinner? I need dinner ideas. I'm terrible for dinner. And so, I don't mind cooking dinner if people say like, hey, I want this for dinner. I'll be like, cool, let's cook that for dinner. But most of the time, out of this family of 6, nobody knows what they want. Take that back. Usually one of them wants pizza or Chinese. Those are our default takeouts. But nobody can ever like tell me a meal that they want cooked. So I'm left with figuring out what to make every single day. And I don't know what I'm making tonight, and I need to get on the ball for that. Okay. So there's our cow shawl. No markings that need to be marked. So put those together. Put those to my pattern piece. So you got that pizza cream. Yeah. Oh, my husband would eat pea soup. I don't. I'm sorry. I like the baby peas, the frozen baby peas. Yeah, pizza. I like pizza. We just got a new pizza place here locally that we tried a couple weeks ago. It was amazing. I like local pizza places rather than chains. So, I live in the Midwest, and I am very much driving distance from Chicago. So, I like to take advantage of real Chicago pizza when we go up there. Ugh. Love it. But the wait is always amazing. We go to Giovanni's. I don't know if I'm saying that right now. In downtown Chicago. It's so good. There's some in the suburbs too, though. So good. See, now I want pizza. We could do homemade pizza. That's fun. Do you guys ever do homemade pizzas? Love it. The kids like it too. Okay, pocket pieces cut out. Alrighty, let's do an inventory. Make sure we got it all. Clear this all off. Okay. Alrighty. 2 shawls, 2 sleeves mirror and imaged, our front pieces, and our back pieces. Okay, let's see, what else? Oh, I did not go over blending sizes. Shoot, you guys, I meant to do that for you. Okay, so when you blend sizes, I know Jen asked me about blending sizes. So you'll print off all the sizes that you need, and then the same way that I blended the seams when I had to shorten, that's how you'll blend your sizes together. So you would just, like if you needed a larger waist size, the length and shorten line is pretty true with the waist usually, so you could go around that area and then blend your sizes together. So if you needed, let me unclip this real quick. So let me draw a line on here. So let's say you printed your 2 sizes and you needed a larger size for your waist. You would just take a line and draw it, just like we blended before. Again, French curve is great. Because I'm using knit, I just freehand it. So, does that make sense to you guys? Yeah, Jennifer, I'm really, really good at getting as much out of the fabric as I can. I used to waste a ton of fabric and it killed me, so I've really become conscious of using it to the best of my ability. So yeah, if you need more guidance on blending sizes, just let me know, and I'll definitely address that better in the blog post that I'm going to put together this afternoon. So, I think we got everything for today. Let me go through my list real quick. Plenty size and cutting fabric, removing the fold. So, yeah, did I miss anything? Anything that you guys have any questions on or anything? Anybody at all? I know there's a little bit of delay, so I'll let you guys ponder for a moment. So, tomorrow we are going to be sewing the back and the shoulder seams and attaching the sleeves. I think that's what I've got on the plate for tomorrow. And yeah, so I will get the graphic up for the post for you guys to share your cut fabric. If you don't have time to get your fabric cut today, just share a picture of the fabric you're using. That's great. We all love to oogle the fabric that everybody's using. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been fun, and we're gonna have so much fun. So we will be live again tomorrow. I think 10 a.m. is a good time for me personally. I'm going to double check my calendar, but I'm going to aim for 10 again. So just like today, these videos will be archived here in the group, and then I'm also going to download them and post them on the blog so that we have them there. Terry, you have a laundry day tea question. Okay, I don't mind. When I'm attaching the neckband, how do I know where the quarter marks are? Okay, you don't see, let me see if I can see the rest. Okay, no, there are no quarter markings on the pattern. So, Terry, if you go on to the Love Notions blog, www.lovenotions.com/blog, we have a tutorials tab at the top. One of the tutorials in there is a video for attaching the neckband, and I go over how to find the quarter points. Let me, oh, I found a shirt. Okay. So, basically, Samson hack that I made for my son a while ago. So, you find the centers, which is easy to do when you have your pattern pieces because obviously you're cutting it right on the center. Centers of the neckband. Take those, put them together. I always go the wrong direction at first. And then walk your neckline out to the side, lining up the raw edges, and then mark, and then walk the neckline the other direction and mark. And so then when you open up the shirt, you'll notice that your quarter points are not on your shoulder seams. No, I don't even think for a boat neck it's ever going to be on your shoulder seams. And that's because obviously your front of your neckline scoops down lower. So yeah, you just find the center points front and back, put those together, then match the side seam or the raw edge and walk it out. And then you'll line up your neckband quarter points to that and stretch and ease it together. It is simple. Yes, see? No, so some steps in the patterns are an assumed skill, for lack of a better word, and it's because it's not a lesson in how to sew, but we do supplement that type of thing with tutorials on the blog that are more in-depth for that reason. So if there's ever a step in anything that you guys would like more clarification on, you know, post it in the group, tag me. I am always looking for suggestions for tutorials to do to make things easier and more understandable for you guys. So I know we have a really wide variety of experienced seamstresses in this group, and that is fabulous. So if you have something you need help with, just let me know. I will help you out and make a blog post if you want, whatever works for you guys. So, but there we go. Anything else for today? Sorry, I'm reading comments too. I'm glad it was helpful. This is fun. So, okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out and, or like, you know, cut the video. I've already cut out my pattern and work on the blog post. Blog post will be posted up hopefully this afternoon, but I need to go get lunch, so it might be this evening. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.